My physical TBR is over 300 books, so let's go through them all. Hello my friends, welcome to my channel, Discover with Kim. I'm Kim, I'm so excited you're here with me today. Welcome to this week's reading vlog. This week we are continuing my physical TBR, so go back and watch part 1 if you haven't yet. I will link it down below. I decided I wanted to go through all the books on my physical TBR. I wanted to look at what they were. I wanted to look a little bit about what they were about, and I wanted to add them into a list on my Fable so I can kind of get my mood reading and seasonal reading in order a little bit. So we have been working on that, and we are already 202 books deep. Yeah, we are 202 books into my physical TBR, and we still have more than an entire shelf to go. We have like a shelf and a half to go, so we're going to keep going with it. I'm going to show you the book. I'm going to give you about a 1-sentence explanation of what the book's about, and then I will be adding it onto my Fable TBR, and at the end we are going to know exactly how many books are on my physical TBR. So let's get right into it, and let's continue my physical TBR show off, I guess. Let's keep checking out my physical TBR, shall we? We are going to start with some books that just recently got added to my physical TBR because I got them all for my birthday. So they're going to be miscellaneous genres, some fantasy, some romance, some fiction, just a bunch of random stuff. So let's start going through them. The first book is What I Should Have Said by Max Monroe. This is actually the beginning of a series. I'll put the series name right here. This one is a tender and emotionally charged love story about our gumpy, muscled-up artist and the runaway bride who tries to hitchhike from him. That's our female main character, as she's running away from her wedding to a small town in Vermont to see her estranged sister. Next up, I have Wait With Me by Amy Dawes. This is book number 1 in a series as well. I put the series right here. This is going to be a spicy small town series, and in this book our female main character is a romance novelist who is going through writer's block, and the only place she finds that she can write is in a tire shop's waiting room, and she ends up starting a romance with the mechanic there. Super cute addition. Very cute. I have A Fellowship of Games and Fables by Jay Penner. This is book number 3 in the Adenishire series. And this is like a cozy fantasy series, and it follows a bunch of various creatures. And in this book, it follows a fennec fox who has recently moved to a new town, and she's kind of likes to keep to herself, but she decides this year she's going to participate in the holiday wintry games, and I believe she starts a love story of her own. This one's going to be really cozy and like just a really cozy, whimsy fantasy, I think. Next up, I have Rider by Jessica Peterson. This is book number 5 in the Lucky River Ranch series. This is a cowboy series, and in this one, it follows our female main character and her childhood crush, who was her brother's best friend, and they end up being thrown together now that they're older, and I believe romance ensues. Next up, I have Anne of Green Gables, which is adapted by Mariah Martin and illustrated by Brenna Thumler. And this is the illustrated graphic novel of the actual novel, Anne of Green Gables. I have Warriors by Erin Hunter. This is book number 3 in the Prophecies Begin series. This again is a graphic novel. This is a graphic novel following wild cats. It is for like children. I've been reading it with my nephew. Ooh, puppy. What's up, baby?
Nothing.
Getting some goo?
Feel these pits. Feel those pits.
They were a little sweaty.
Yeah.
Did you need something?
No, I just came out to see you.
Next up, I have Swordheart by T. Kingfisher. Very gorgeous cover. This one is a delightful fantasy romance between a widowed housekeeper and her unlikely sworn protector, and the housekeeper ends up pulling a sword from a sheath, and a man comes out of it who's going to protect her. I have The Everlasting by Alex E. Harrow. Very pretty. This one again is a standalone fantasy novel about, oh my goodness, I don't even know how to sum this up in 1 sentence. A woman is set back in time. Wait, no. Historian is sent back in time to ensure our female main character meets a tragic fate, but ends up falling in love with her. That sounds complicated. Ooh, next up I have volume 0, issue 13, which is my collection of short stories from Book of the Month. If you watched part 1, you'll see I had like a million of these. This is just part number 13. It is their most recent one. It just came out in May, I believe. And it is their new Lit Scene magazine, and they've like redesigned it. So I have The Last Contract of Rebecca by Fonda Lee. This book is it is a sci-fi, an epic science fiction where money trumps loyalty and the elite have the power to extend life or end it, and one woman in the twilight of her calling must decide what's ultimately worth living or dying for. So our female main character is a legendary swordswoman who before she decides to die, she takes on one last contract. I have Seek the Traitor's Son by Veronica Roth. This is book number 1 in a new series. Veronica Roth is the author of Divergent. It says, the daughter of a bounty hunter, the knight sworn to protect her, and the prophecy that destroys their lives. Everything's becoming a hot mess. Next up, we have The Shippers by Catherine Senner. This is a contemporary rom-com. It follows our female main character, who's, I believe, her sister's destination wedding. So, it follows our female main character whose sister is getting married on a cruise ship, and she enlists the help of her best friend to be her date and help her find a man. Next up, I have The Wicked Sea by Jordan Stephanie Gray. This one is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, like insane. And this one follows our female main character who is a mermaid and our male main character who is a mermaid hunter who ends up saving her, and she's kind of like obligated, or she ends up entering a deal, a magical bargain with him. I have Queen of Faces by Petra Lord. This follows our main character who is wearing the face of another and whose body is rotting from the inside out, and she can't afford a new body, a new face, because only the elite can afford them, so she needs to figure out how to get a new body. I have Anxious People. Oh, did I show you that this is gorgeous? I have Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. This is a contemporary fiction about a bank robbery that goes wrong, and then individuals end up being taken hostage, and it kind of follows each of these individuals' story. I have Your Knife, My Heart and Your Blade, My Back by K.M. Moranova. These are a dark military romance about our male and female main character. I think that he basically is a killer and she ends up being his partner. These are really cute and I think they're going to be really fun. I have The Time Hop Coffee Shop by Phaedra Patrick. This one, again, gorgeous. This one follows our female main character who wishes for a different life, and she ends up waking up in basically like a coffee commercial where everything's perfect and happy and cheerful all the time. And yeah, that sounds really, really interesting. I have Somewhere in the Deep by Tanvi Burwa. This story follows our female main character who is working to pay off her parents' debt by battling monstrous creatures, and when something happens that means she's banned from the pits, she ends up having to go with a crew down into the mines. She's going to be protecting them as they go down there to take care of something, which sounds really good. Into like the caves, like down into the caves, into the deep of the caves. Very good. I have Wolf or Wolfie by Paisley Hope. This is a motorcycle romance. That's all I really know about it. I have It Ends at Midnight by Harriet Thrice. This is a story that's set on New Year's Eve at a lavish party, and when the fireworks go off, someone's going to end up dead. I have Half City by Kate Golden. This is a young adult fantasy, academic fantasy about a girl who is a demon hunter, and she ends up going to like a school for demon hunting, I think. I do want to note that I have not read any of these books, obviously. They're my TBR shelves. So I'm just giving you a synopsis based off what I know. I could be wrong. So I just want to throw that out there. So I have The Mystery Writer by Sulari Gentile. This is a book about our main character who wants to be a writer, so she throws away her life and ends up on her brother's doorstep with a half-written manuscript, but then her mentor ends up dead, and she kind of goes on a whole investigation to figure out what happened to them. I have Mistakes Were Made by Lucy Score. This is book number 2 in a series. I'll put the series name right here. This is a small-town romance set in Pennsylvania between a romance novel writer and a 6'2" landlord. He is looking for a perfect wife and she's looking for a one-night stand. I have Bourbon and Secrets by Victoria Wilder. This is book number 2 in the Fox Brothers series, and this one is gorgeous. I don't know which way's right way up. This way's right way up. This one follows another brother and a single dad, and a girl who returns to her small town is now a stage girl. And then I have The Monster in the Last Blood Match, as well as The Captive in the First Blood Game by K.A. Lind. This is book number 1 and book number 2 in a trilogy. Very pretty. Very, very pretty. These are book number 2 in a trilogy, and they follow a person. They follow a female main character who lives in a world of vampires, and she has to give her body for survival, but she ends up being a live-in escort for a vampire who refuses to drink her blood because for some reason her blood is special. And then this is book number 2 in that series. Next up, I have book number 1 in another series, and that is The Library of Amerlin by Kaylin Josephson. This book is about our female main character who used to be a masterful con artist, and she's now going undercover as a new assistant librarian. Very, very gorgeous. And I think that's going to be a really fun one. I have The Sun and the Star Maker by Rachel Griffin. This one is like a fantasy novel about the sun who falls in love with her star maker, and I believe it's going to be very, very tragic. I don't know for sure though, but I think so. I have The Night We Met by Abby Jimenez. I don't know if I pronunciated that correctly. This is a contemporary romance about our female main character who ends up falling for her boyfriend's best friend. I have Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. Very, very gorgeous edition. This again is a small town romance. It says 6 summers to fall in love, 1 moment to fall apart, a weekend to get it right. I have The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. This is book number 1 in the Bridge Kingdom series. I have this very gorgeous special edition. This series is a sweeping, sizzling fantasy romance filled with political intrigue and passionate love between a warrior princess trained in isolation who must travel the Bridge Kingdom to get to the King of Erin to bring him to his knees. I have Bloodbound by Ellis Hunter. This again is a fantasy romance series. It follows 2 different women. The first female main character we follow is the last Nocturne Witch, whose destiny is to go and fight the prince of the kingdom, which is Prince Zarin, and he is the most powerful dragon rider. The second female character we follow is part of a traveling troupe, and she is going to the capital to try and basically like make money off of all the people who are going to bet on the duel. I have Foul Lady Fortune by Chloe Gong, which is book number 1 in a duology. I'll put the name of the duology right here. This one is set in 1931 in Shanghai, and it follows our female main character who is brought back on the brink of death in a strange experiment, and now she cannot die. I have A Perfect Story by Elizabeth Benevet. This one is a romance. It follows our female main character who seemingly has a perfect life, but one breakdown brings everything crashing down. She ends up at the bar with a bartender, and they basically strike up a conversation, and they really start to form a bond. I have Bourbon and Proof by Victoria Wilder, which is book number 3 in the Fox Brothers trilogy. So it is the last book in the trilogy, and this one follows the last Fox brother, and then it looks like he gets involved with one of his brother's best friends. I have The Book Witch by Meg Schaefer. This book follows our female main character who works basically in a library as a book witch. So she goes into books and fixes things, and something happens where she ends up having to team up with her favorite book character and go through a bunch of different popular books such as Alice in Wonderland, The Great Gatsby, etc. to go and fix the issue. Mad Mabel by Sally Hepworth is a bit of a mixed mystery thriller. It follows our female main character who is now an old woman and what's happening in her neighborhood, but she also was the youngest convicted murderer in Australia, and it kind of follows what happened back then. We are officially at 240 books. So let's continue on with some romances. Continuing with the Lucky River Ranch series, I have Wyatt, Sawyer, and Duke. Cash was in part 1, by the way. So these are cowboy romances. Cash is book number 1. Wyatt is book number 2. And then Sawyer and then Duke. So Cash was book number 1. Wyatt is book number 2 in this series. And it says, he's exactly what she's looking for in a one-night stand, if only he wasn't her best friend. Book number 3 is Sawyer, which follows a recently divorced single mother who is only looking for a one-night stand, but she moves to a new town and there he is. And then book number 4 is Duke. These are all by Jessica Peterson. Again, Lucky River Ranch series. It says, one chance meeting on a Texas ranch, one wild, too charming cowboy, one snowed-in night that changes everything. I have the entire, at least published, Second Sons trilogy. I'm not sure if there's more coming. If there are, like, at least announced, I'll put here. But I have the entire Second Sons trilogy by Emily Rath. Book 1 is Beautiful Things. Book 2 is His Grace the Duke. And book 3 is Alcott Hall. So we have book number 1, which follows our female main character who's 22, unmarried, and she has two choices: snag a wealthy gentleman or take work as a government. She's invited to Alcott Hall to meet a mysterious childhood friend of her late mother, and she's trying to avoid the husband hunt, but then there's 3 very different men who are trying to catch her attention. Book number 2 is His Grace the Duke, and this continues Rosalie's story, so I'm not going to tell you anything about it, but it's a continuation of book number 1. And then we have book number 3, which is called Alcott Hall. Beautiful. And this one takes on a different female main character whose late aunt leaves her a generous fortune, and Madeline races off to this inheritance, but she needs a husband. I have book number 1 in the book number 1 in the, put the name of the series here. It is by Elliot Rose. It's called Chasing the Wild. Beautiful. Beautiful. And this one is a spicy new forbidden love that is age gap, and it says attraction is everything, and it's set on a Montana mountain ranch, and it's ex-boyfriend's father. I have Scythe and Sparrow by Bryn Weaver. This is book number 3 in the Ruinous Love trilogy. I've already read the first 2 books, and this one follows the third brother, who is a doctor, as well as Rose Evans, who was his, like, necessary roommate. I have Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. This one is a Christmas romance about a girl and a ghost of Christmas past which comes to visit her. I have the 2 books. I'm not sure if there's any more in the series, but I have the 2 books in the Kluvberg series, which is First Fight, Final Fall, and All the Wrong Place. These are soccer romances. In the first one, it is between our male main character, who is the sexiest athlete alive, and our female main character, who challenges him to a shootout and wins. And then we have book number 2, which follows a different couple. We have Asher, who accidentally had a viral incident with his club owner's wife, and Sophia, who was trying to avoid soccer, but she ends up taking a job as a photographer for her brother's team. So those are soccer romances. I have Dante by Sadie Kincaid, as well as Joey by Sadie Kincaid. These are absolutely gorgeous. They are dark romances. They are part of a series, the Chicago Ruthless series. Dante is book number 1. Joey is book number 2. It is a dark mafia romance set in Chicago. It sounds like our female main character ends up getting chained to our male main character based on a debt. And then Joey is book number 2 in the Chicago Ruthless series, and it is Brother's Best Friend. I have Kiss the Villain by Rena Kent. This is book number 1 in a series. I'll put the name of the series here. And this is a dark romance between a genius law student, heir to the Carson Empire, and his criminal law teacher, who is a criminal themselves. I have Next in Line by Amy Dawes, as well as Last on the List by Amy Dawes. These are 2 books from the same series. I'll put the name of the series here. Next in Line is a super cute sounding, they're both going to be like spicy rom-com romances, and this one is Brother's Best Friend set in my battery died, but this is Brother's Best Friend set in Colorado. She ends up making out with a random stranger in an ice fishing hut, and yeah, it's a brother's best friend. Also part of that series is Last on the List by Amy Dawes. This is between a CEO millionaire and the woman who he hires to be his nanny. I have Picture Perfect by Tessa Bailey. I believe this is part of an interconnected standalone series. I'll put the name here. I'm not sure, but I believe it is. And this one is a baseball sports romance. It is a enemies to lovers fake dating sports romance about a playboy hockey rookie and a disciplined softball pitcher completely immune to his charms. Very cute. I have Wild Love by Elsie Silver. I need to take these stickers off, but this is the book number 1 in the Rose Hill series. I believe there are 4 or 5 books in this series, and this one is like a small town romance. It's between the world's hottest billionaire and a woman who is coming back to town. Let's see. She's been driving him wild for years. The good kind of wild, the bad kind of wild. So it's billionaire second chance romance. Gorgeous Target edition, by the way. This one has the cutest edges. It is The Lovers by Kristen Cast. This is like a romance, but I do believe there's going to be some fantasy aspects to it because it's about our female main character who basically ends up in a tarot card situation with her ex, and they end up in like a different world. We have Room Hate by Penelope Ward. So pretty, and this is a summer romance about our two main characters. A female main character, her grandma died and left her half of a beach house. And when she gets there, she doesn't know that her grandma also left the other half to Justin, a boy she knows from when she was younger. We have The Devil in the Deep Blue Sea by Elizabeth O'Rourke. This one is book number 1 or 2 in a series. Hopefully 1. It's book number 2 in the Grumpy Devil series. I do not have book number 1. And this one says, you don't really know a guy until you've vacationed with him. The enemies to lovers rom-com you've been searching for. So our female main character ends up going on a vacation with her ex-boyfriend's family. And then it turns out that maybe she's interested in his brother. Ooh, this one's fat. We have Just for the Cameras by Megan Quinn. I love Megan Quinn. She is like a spicy rom-com writer. This one is a fake dating story between our male main character, who is some kind of sports player. He's a football player, and a female main character who is like a zookeeper. And then finally, for now, for romance, I have Burning Daylight by Emily McIntyre. This is book number 1 in the Defying the Stars series, and this is basically a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in modern day, perhaps? I think so. So it looks really fun and interesting. We're going to move on to my fantasy books, and buckle up, guys, because we have a whole shelf of them. So the first one is Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. This one is so these are all going to be like fantasy novels, and some of them are going to be more romantic-y than others. So this one, it leans more towards the fantasy side, and it follows our female main character who tracks down a local legend named the Watchman, who supposedly can tell you when you're going to die, and she's going to die tonight unless she finds something called the alchemical heart. I have Fallen Gods by Rachel Van Dyken. This one, the cover is really pretty, and look at the size. Very, very pretty. It says, never wake a sleeping giant. They said the gods were missed, that the giants were only stories told around dying fires. They lied. So this is a fantasy about gods and giants. So it looks like our main character is sent to Ender University, and there they encounter the enemy's heir, and they end up having to go on a mission together. I have Rings of Fate by Melissa De La Cruz. This one is a romantasy, and it follows our two main characters. Our female is a barmaid who doesn't believe in fairy tales, and our male main character is a prince who's cursed to live one, and they end up having to go on a journey together in order to save both of their kingdoms. I have North is the Night by Emily Rath. This one is more of a wintry fantasy, and this one is about 2 women. It is set in the Finnish wilderness, and it's about friends Siri and Anya. Anya goes missing, and Siri has to brave a dangerous journey to the mythical underworld. I have Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. This is book number 1 in the Kindred Curse saga. I have this beautiful sprayed edge edition. It is set in a mortal world colonized by the gods, and our main character yearns to escape her poor village. With her mother's sudden disappearance, she goes on an adventure to enter the dark world of descended royalty and unlock the web of mysteries her mother left behind. So this is book number 1 in the series. I also have book number 2 in the series, which is Glow of the Everflame. Very gorgeous, very pretty. It's a continuation of the story, so I'm not going to tell you anything about it, but that is book number 1 and book number 2 of the Kindred's Curse saga. I have What Fury Brings by Trisha Levenseller. This is book number 1, and I believe it's going to be a duology. It's about a female main character. She lives in a world where men are very rare, and honestly, she needs a husband. So she goes, and I'm pretty sure she kidnaps one, and he ends up being a prince, I believe. I have Druid Curse by C.J. Burnwright. This one is a standalone fantasy romantasy, and it's about a druid who gets 1 week of freedom every 50 years, and a woman who basically he needs to kill in order to keep his freedom, where she ends up being involved with this guy because she is in a chance to win a 500,000 cash prize, which she very much needs. I have Psycho Shifter by Jasmine Moss. This is book number 1 in the Cruel Shifterverse series. And this book follows a female main character. She is a shifter and she has to go to an academy to learn how to shift. And her 3 roommates are 6'5" roommates slash trainers who are covered in tattoos, jeweled and horned, and they don't believe that she has what it takes. So that is book number 1 in the series. I also have book number 2, which is Psycho Fae, again by Jasmine Moss. This is a continuation of the same series, same storyline, so I don't want to tell you anything about it, but that is book number 2 in the series. And then I believe there's many more in this series, but these are the only 2 that I own. I have An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir. This is book number 1 in a series as well. Let me see if it tells me what it is. It does not. So I'll put the name of the series right here. This is a fantasy series. I believe it is a young adult fantasy about Leia, who is a slave, Elias, who is a soldier, and neither of them are free. So that one sounds really fun, really good. Again, it's number 1 in the series. It's the only one from the series that I own. I have Hollow by Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti. This is book number 1 in a series as well. Yes, lots of fantasies are series. Don't we know it? So this is book number 1 in a series. It's the Crown of Hearts and Chaos series. I love this edition. It's so beautiful. It says, the Great Hunt begins once every 50 years, and only the champions willing to face death to shatter the curse. Only the champions willing to face death to shatter the curse. Okay, that is correct. That sounded wrong. Dare to enter. The champions and me, and obviously there's going to be dragons in it. I have The Guardians of Dreamdark Wind Witch by Lonnie Taylor. This is book number 1 in a series. Absolutely gorgeous edition. So beautiful. So pretty. And this one is a whimsy fantasy. It's about Magpie Wind Witch, and she is her people's last hope. She is a fairy, and she ends up having to... Oh, she is a devil hunter, and she ends up going on a hunt that leads her to the legendary forest of Dreamdark, where she finds herself outmatched. So it is a fairy whimsy fantasy novel, and I think this one's going to be just like so fun. It is book 1 in a series. I put the name of the series here. That's the only book I own from the series. I have Girl Goddess Queen by Bea Fitzgerald. This one is a very beautiful. Very beautiful. It says, the hell with love, the goddess has other, we're going to say maybe it's plans or ideas or something. And this is basically a retelling of the Greek goddess, or the mythology, Persephone. She is supposed to get married off, but she doesn't want to get married off. So she has plans to shake up Mount Olympus, but she ends up falling in love with Hades. And then we have Ship of Spells by H. Layton Dixon. This one, again, gorgeous. I believe this is a standalone, but I'm not sure. I will let you know if it is not. It says, a war-scarred mage, a sentient ship, a secret that could drown empires. We have one shelf done, so moving on to the next shelf. I have Nightweaver by R.M. Gray. So pretty. It says, I will not let them take me. This is a pirate fantasy set on the Nightweaver between Esther and her pirate family, and when Esther's brother is killed in an epic battle against Nightweavers, her family are thrust into a new land. So Nightweavers, I guess, are a type of being or individual. So that is book number 1 in the series. I also have book number 2 in the series, which is called Star Chaser. So this is a continuation of the series. I don't want to tell you anything about it because we're not looking to ruin anything for anyone. But I will lay the name of the series down here, and this is a continuation of the series. So book number 2 is Star Chaser. Oh, and it's absolutely beautiful. Again, I will not be silenced. Gorgeous. I have Red City by Marie Lu. Oop. You see it's a gorgeous skyline on this one. It says, power always has a price. When you win the game of power, who do you lose? And this is a book about alchemy. It's a hidden art of transformation. And it's set amongst the gleaming skylines of Angel City. And it takes place between 2 friends who are on opposite ends of, like, the city. I don't want to say they're gangs, but they're both basically on, like, opposite sides of things. 2 childhood friends who are now on opposite sides of things. We have A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. This is absolutely gorgeous. It's book number 1 in a series. I also have book number 2 in the series, which is A Theory of Dreaming. I'm not sure if the series is finished or not yet. I'll put the name of the series down below. This series It says, but if fairies and monsters were real, so were the woman who defeated them. It's part historical fantasy, part rivals to lovers romance, and part gothic mystery. This feminist fairy tale has captivated readers with its haunting dream-like atmosphere, and it's an academic setting. It sounds really cute, and then this is a continuation of the story. I don't know if I showed you the books. The books on them are so pretty. I have Blood of Hercules by Jasmine Moss, which is book number 1 in the Villains of Lore duology. I also have Bonds of Hercules, which is book number 2. This one is a fantasy book about our female main character. It's set in a gladiator world, and it turns out she's Hercules. So I think this one is going to be really fun. I've heard it's really, really good, and obviously, like, it's absolutely gorgeous. So I'm really excited for these ones. I have His Face is the Sun by Michelle Jabez Corpora. This is book number 1 in a series. It is I don't know what it's called. I'll put the name here. Absolutely gorgeous edition. So pretty. It's about a princess, a priestess, a rebel, and a thief. It's set in the great kingdom of Katara, and the 4 of them have the potential to save the kingdom. I have The Courting of Bristol Keats by Mary E. Pearson. I also have The Last Wish of Bristol Keats by Mary E. Pearson. These are obviously part of a series together. This is book number 1. This is book number 2. I'm not sure if the series is finished or not yet. Gorgeous, gorgeous editions. This series is a fantasy series about dangerous fae, dark secrets, and an addictive romance between Bristol Keats, her and her sister have lost their parents, so now she promises she will take care of her family. It turns out everything she knows about her family is a lie, including her father might still be alive. So she goes on a journey to the land of gods, fae, and monsters to try and find out the truth. And this is a continuation of the series. Okay, we gotta do something about this hair because it is in my face. Okay, so I have another duology, and that is the Royal Artifactual Guild. I think it's a duology. It might be a series, but I have Full Moon Rising and By the Horns by Ruby Dixon. This is a romantasy series. It's in a world of magical artifacts and fantastical beings. A woman with a deadly magical secret needs the help of a minotaur she's trying to forget. Oh, that was number 1. It says, in a world of magical artifacts and fantastical beings, a woman determined to save her family joins forces with an unlikely partner, a minotaur, and a steamy romantasy. So they're obviously a continuation of each other, and it's between a woman and a minotaur. So that sounds completely different than anything I've ever read. I have The Neverless by Jade Presley. This one is about the 4 princes of Lumathis who need a mate, and everyone wants a chance except for her. It is a Why Choose. It is number 1 in a series. The series is called this. I have For Whom the Bell Tolls by Jacia Lynn. This is a fantasy novel. It's following our female main character who works at the help desk of hell, I believe. Yeah, so that sounds like it's going to be really fun and interesting. I have The Half King by Melissa Landers. This is book number 1 in a series. I put the series name right here. Yeah, it's not in here. This one follows our male main character. He is a king by day and a shadow by night. And our female main character, who is an acolyte at the court. She's destined to serve the goddess and become a seer. Only she has no gift of the foretelling. So that sounds really interesting. Ooh, I have The Things Gods Break by Abigail Owens. This is book number 2 in a series. Book number 1 was The Games Gods Play. Ooh, The Games Gods Play. And I don't know what the series is called. The Crucible series. This is book number 2 in the series. I don't have book number 1, so I cannot tell you what this is about, and I don't know what book number 1 is about, so it's a fantasy series about gods. Yeah, I don't have book number 1 because I couldn't find the special edition with the sprayed edges, and now they only have the regular edition available, and I can't bring myself to buy it because they're not going to match, so now I don't know what to do, so I don't have book 1, I just have book 2, so book lovers problems, am I right? Next up, I have another partial series. Book number 4 is not out yet, so I have the 3 that are out, and that is the Bloodwing Academy series. Book number 1 is On Wings of Blood. They are by Briar Bolin. They have these gorgeous, fun edges. Book number 2 is The Bond That Burns. And book number 3 is The Wings That Bind, all by Briar Bolin, all with these gorgeous edges on them. And if it's not obvious, it's about a dragon academy. Welcome to Bloodwing Academy. Expect magic, expect competition, expect blood. A half-fae in a school of half-blood vampires. And apparently all the dragons are supposedly gone, but I don't think they are. I have The Scorpion and the Night Blossom by Emily Wen Zhao, which is book number 1 in a series. It doesn't say what series it is. This is book number 1 in a series. I also have book number 2 in the series, which is The Dragon and the Sun Lotus. Again, absolutely gorgeous. Is the Three Realms duology. Oh, so it's just a duology, which is beautiful. I have them both then. So I have this duology, which is so gorgeous, and it says it is focused on a war between the Kingdom of Night and the Kingdom of Rivers, which tore a family apart, leaving the mother barely alive and a baby sister to fend for herself. Now the mortal realm is falling apart, and she is no longer a helpless child. She has to enter the immortality trials to try and survive the journey to the immortal realm to save her mother and herself. And it is a duology, so since it's finished, I think I'm going to need to read that soon. Guys, we are moving down a shelf, so we're on shelf number 3 now. How exciting. First up, I have Direbound by Fable Sorensen. This is book number 1 in the Wolves of Ruin series. This is a fantasy romantasy series, and it follows our female main character, and she has to try and bond with a dire wolf. And everything is a competition. Everyone is out to get her, everyone except the dangerously handsome crown prince, whose attention adds another lethal target to her back. So that sounds really fun and interesting. These next 2 are not fantasy. They're actually romance books. They're just in the wrong part of my bookshelf right now. And those are The Fine Print by Lauren Asher, as well as Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher. These are part of the same series. They are book 1 and book 2 in the... They're not going to tell me, are they? I wish that every book gave me a whole series list, because your girl doesn't know what any series is called. How am I supposed to know? I'll put the series name right here. I believe it's a trilogy. So we have book 1 and book 2. They are interconnected standalone romance series. Book 1 says, oh, it doesn't have a synopsis of them either. Book 1, I believe, is between a amusement park owner and someone who's there to like help him make more money. Terms and Conditions, I have no idea what it's about, but it is a romance. It is book number 2 in the series. That's all I'm getting. That's all I got for you guys. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous, and I'm really excited to read it. I know it's another like billionaire romance series, so it's a billionaire spicy romance series. That's all I know. Getting back into the fantasies, I have Crown of War and Shadow, which is book number 1 in a series. I'll put the name of the series here. It is by J.R. Ward. So pretty. Like, look at this. Just pause it and look at this. It's insane how pretty it is. It says, in the dead of night, passions rise, empires fall, and a queen must awaken. Welcome to the kingdoms of the compass. That sounds good. Continuing on, I have Heavenly Bodies by Amani Eru. This is book number 1 in the Heavenly Bodies series. I have this very, very nice special edition, and it's a romantasy series that blends Greek mythology and shadow magic with a tantalizing enemies to lovers romance that will rewrite the stars. Sounds amazing. It's book number 1 in a series, so that's the only book I own in that series. I have Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, which is book number 1 in a duology. I have the special, like, collector's edition one. So this one is a workplace rivals between 2 journalists. I believe it is like a romantasy. I have the Witch and Hunter duology by Sarah Rash and Beth Revis, which is Night of the Witch, book 1, and The Fate of Magic, book number 2. This is a witch-inspired romantasy duology between a witch and a hexenhager, which is a witch hunter. So it is a duology about a witch and a witch hunter. I have The Wren in the Holly Library by K.A. Lind. This is book 1 in a series. It says, can you love the dark when you know what it hides? In this world, there are monsters that emerge from the shadows. She lives in New York City, and there's now a monster treaty, but she breaks the treaty and is now locked into a dangerous bargain with a creature unlike any other. So that's book number 1 in the series. I also own book number 2 in the series, which is The Robin and the Oak Throne. gorgeous. So gorgeous. Ooh. I'm not going to tell you anything about it. Ooh, pretty. I just know it's a continuation of the series, and I just want to look to see. It is called the Oak and Holly Cycle series, and I believe it's probably going to be a trilogy, but I'm not positive. I have the last one by Rachel Housel Hall. This one is, I know it's number 1 in a series. It's a romantasy debut where our female main character wakes in the woods with no idea who she is or how she got there. All she knows is that if she cannot reach the Sea of Devourer, even this will get worse. So she goes to see a blacksmith and accepts his offer of help. And there's a lot of secrets. I know it's book number 1 in a series. I will put the name of the series here. I only own book number 1. I have Arcana Academy by Elsie Kova. I have another book by Elsie Kova. I have a Dragon Cursed. Oh my god, I didn't even know that. Well, I have Arcana Academy by Elsie Kova. This is book number 1 in a series of the Arcana Academy series, and it's about a woman who wields magical tarot cards, lands herself in a false engagement with the headmaster of a mysterious academy in the first installment of this fantasy romance series. So I've heard this one's really fun and really good, so I'm really excited for this one. I feel like this one's more of like a fall read though. I have Silver Elite by Danny Francis. This is book number 1 in a series as well. Book number 2, I believe, is about to be released soon, and it is a sizzling dystopian romance series. Psychic gifts are a death sentence, and there are rules to survival. Trust no one, lie to everyone, and whatever you do, don't fall for your greatest enemy. That sounds really good. I have the entire Broken Blades trilogy. I have book number 1, which is 5 Broken Blades. It's by Mai Corland. I have book number 2, which is 4 Ruined Realms. Gorgeous edition. And then I have book number 3, which is 3 Shattered Souls. Again, gorgeous edition. No, book number 1 does not match. Yes, it does bother me. This is a fantasy, and it's about the 5 most dangerous liars in the land who must team up together to try and kill the king of Yusan, or kill the god king Yoon. Oh, he's a god king Yoon, so they need to team up to kill the king of their land. And of course, book 2 and 3 continue the storyline. I have the City of Phantom duology. I believe it's a duology. I sure hope so, because I would like to read it soon. So book number 1 is The Dagger and the Flame. It's by Catherine Doyle. Book number 2 is The Rebel and the Rose. They're very, very, very gorgeous. And this one is it says, in the dark underbelly of a beautiful city, 2 rival gang members are pitted against each other in a deadly game of duty and revenge in which the most dangerous mistake is falling in love. And then book number 2 is a continuation of the story. I'll let you guys know if any more books have been announced, or if that's like the end of it, if the internet tells me. So I have The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. This is book number 1 in a series, and it's a gothic, mist-cloaked tale of a young prophetess who is forced on an impossible quest with one knight whose future she cannot see. It's book number 1 in the Stonewater Kingdom series. I love this author, so I'm really excited to read this one. I have Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This is book number 1 in a trilogy. I only own this book out of the trilogy so far. Book number 2 is out. Book number 3, I believe, will be out soon. It is a mesmerizing tale of power, privilege, dark magic, and murder set among the Ivy League elite. I have Metal Slinger by Rachel Schneider. Book number 1 in the Fire and Metal series. Book number 2 is about to be released, I believe. And our female main character goes to the market and encounters an enemy soldier, where she is confronted with the aftermath of the day's event and a growing rebellion. I'm not sure much about this. I just know like it's her romantic fantasy series, and my sister loved it. Okay, we only have 2 more shelves. This is very exciting news to me because I am so ready to just be done. So we have 2 more shelves. I actually think I'm just going to bring you guys with me. I hope you don't mind. I've been standing all day for hours. I'm going to bring you with me down here. Can you still see? Yeah, you can still see. Actually, the light is better this way now. I've been doing this so long that the light has changed, guys. Should we talk about that? Okay, so we're going to get right into this. These first couple books are not fantasy, they're in the wrong spot. So we have Story of My Life by Lucy Score. This is actually a contemporary romance book. It's set in a small town, I think in Pennsylvania, and it takes place between a rom-com author and the hot grumpy contractor who is working on her house. I have A Secret in the Garden by Jeanne O'Reilly. I think this one actually is kind of like a cozy romantic fantasy. It takes place at Blackwood Manor, which is on a windswept cliff, and the only person who lives there is the heir, Jasper. The manor is pretty much in like disrepair, and then our female main character, she works at the conservatory, and she has to go and ask him for money to save the conservatory, and he says, sure, you can have money to fix it up, but you have to do it alone. And there's a lot of strange things happening in this conservatory. So that one sounds really good and really fun, and I'm excited for that one. And then I have This Book Made Me Think of You by Libby Page. This is a contemporary fiction book. It's about a woman whose husband just died, and she receives a letter to go to the bookstore, and it turns out that for the first year without him, he has picked out a book for her, and she's to go there every single month and get the book and mingle with the people and kind of like get right back into life. Here's the thing. It's dinner time, so I'm gonna go eat dinner, and then we'll finish off these last two shelves together, okay? We're gonna do it. We're gonna finish it off today, hopefully. Hopefully. Okay, we are on the second to last shelf. I can't believe that. So I have This Cursed Crown by Alexandra Overy. This is book number 1 in a duology, I believe. I will put the name of the duology on the screen. And it's about two sisters who are separated and a queendom that's in chaos. I have 40 by Alan Heathcock. It's an American myth of the future, a vision of civil war, spectacle, and disaster of biblical proportions. So it's set in a future America that's ravaged by natural disaster, pandemic, and political unrest. Lovely. A fundamentalist faction emerges. And it is about that. I don't want to talk about how on point that is. We got The Charmed Wife by Olga Grusin. And this is a Cinderella retelling. Cinderella wants her Prince Charming dead in this brilliantly subversive twist on the old rags to riches story. The Warbler by Sarah Beth Durst. This is a fantasy about a girl who can't stay in one place more than like a year because basically something about her family's past is she can't stay in that place because someone will find her and bad things will happen. This one I'm really excited for. I have The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axio. First of all, so beautiful, so gorgeous. And it says, don't chase fate, let fate chase you. And it's about, so our female main character sacrifices herself to save the love of her brother. And she ends up swept away to a spirit realm where she has to seek out the sea god and find him in an enchanted sleep. So then she has to enlist the help of a mysterious young man and a crew of demons and spirits to wake the sea god and bring an end to the killer storms and save her little town. I think it's gonna be a really fun, whimsy, cute story. Speaking of whimsy, cute stories, I have Watermoon by Samantha Soto Yumbao. This story it's gonna be like a cute whimsy fantasy. It follows our female main character who just inherited her family's pawn shop, and on the first day of her owning it, she goes into work and her father has disappeared and something very important has been stolen and is missing, and she ends up having to go on a journey through a mystical world to fix everything. And then I have A Natural History of Dragons by Marie Brennan. This is a story about our female main character who is a dragon naturalist, and it is her true story of the pioneering spirit in which she uses to risk her reputation, her prospects, and her fragile flesh and bone to satisfy her scientific curiosity about dragons. Next up, I have Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldier. This is book number 1 in a series, a novel of high fantasy and low stakes. I'll put the name of the series right here, and it's about a bounty hunter. I believe our female is a bounty hunter who is hanging up her sword and wants to open a coffee shop. So that sounds cute. I've heard mixed things about that one. I feel like that one's more of a fall read. Anyways, I have Onyx and Crake by Margaret Atwood. So this one is book number one in a series, I believe. The first book of the Mad Adam trilogy is at once an unforgettable love story and a compelling vision of the future. And our main character lives in a world that was overwhelmed by the plague, and he's trying to survive, and he may be the last human. He's mourning the loss of his best friend and the beautiful Oryx, whom they both loved. And he goes on a journey through the lush wilderness that was so recently a great city. It sounds good. Until powerful corruption took mankind on an uncontrolled genetic engineering ride. That sounds really interesting and really good. So I'm excited for that one. I have Enchanted Islands by Allison Amend. I believe this one's more of like a romance, but it's inspired by the mid-century memoirs of Frances Conway, the dazzling story of an independent American woman whose path takes her far from her native Minnesota when she and her husband, an undercover intelligence officer, are sent to the Galapagos Islands at the brink of World War II. This is more historical fiction, not fantasy. Don't know why it's here, but I think that one's a really fun one. I think that one will be good for like summer. Like, look at it. That looks like summer. Ooh, I have A Forbidden Alchemy by Stacey McEwen. Don't know if this is part of a series. I feel like it is not. I feel like it's a standalone. It says, all Nina has ever wanted is to become an artisan. All Patrick seeks is a craftsman revolution. Will they choose their greatest desires or each other? So that sounds really good and really interesting. And I've heard really good things about that one. I have Violet Thistlethwaite is Not a Villain Anymore by Emily Krempholtz. And this one is like a cozy fantasy. It follows our female main character who used to be a villain, but she is now retired into a quaint town of Dragon's Rest, and she is looking to open a flower shop. So I think that's going to be a really fun, cozy, whimsy fantasy. I have The Amalfi Curse by Sarah Penner. Very gorgeous, this one is. And this one is a story about powerful witchcraft, a hunt for sunken treasure, forbidden love on the high seas, and it's set in the Amalfi region. So I think that one's kind of a perfect summary. Something about pirates and ships and everything obviously is just very summery to me. I have A True Account. Hannah Massery's Sojourn Amongst the Pirates, written by herself, by Catherine Howe. So this one is a daring novel about a young woman's adventures as one of the most terrifying sea rovers of all time. So a true account of a woman sea rover. So that one sounds really fun and really interesting. I have The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. So I just recently found out this is actually part of a series. So only a book one in the series because I didn't know it was part of a series. But I have this book. I put the series name right here. And it's set in 18th century Cairo. And our female main character is a con woman. She accidentally summons Dara, an equally sly, darkly mysterious DeJourne warrior, to her side during one of her cons. They end up going on an adventure to the legendary city of Brass. I've heard amazing things about this, but it's pretty thick. I'm a little intimidated, especially now that I know it's like a series. I'm not sure when I'm gonna have like the nerve to get into this. Have you read this? How good is it? Let me know. Do I need to read it soon? And like, do I need to read like, is it like a full series or are they just like interconnected? I'm not sure. I have The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. So gorgeous. This one is about it says, far beneath the surface of the earth, upon the shores of the starless sea, there is a labyrinth collection of tunnels and rooms filled with stories. And our male main character is searching for his door. The entryways that lead to the sanctuary are often hidden, sometimes on forest floors, sometimes in private homes, sometimes in plain sight. But those who seek will find. The doors have been waiting for them, and our main character is searching for his door, and he is trying to find it. And he falls into an intoxicating world soaked in romance and mystery. So this one I think is going to be really fun. I haven't picked that one up in a while, so I think that one might be quite an interesting one. And then I have the final two in a trilogy. It is the Caravel trilogy. I've already read Caravel, book number 1. Book number 2 is Legendary, there by Stephanie Garber. And then book number 3 is Finale. There's also a like short story novella, but I don't own that one. So Caravel is about, how do I explain it? It's about a caravel. So a girl has to enter Caravel because her sister went missing and she has to go there and try to find them. And it's kind of like a very circusy, party, mysterious setting. I read Caraval many years ago. I loved it. I read it before book 2 was even out. So let's see. Book 2 was released. I'm going to look when it was published. I want to tell you guys how long ago I read it, so you will not judge me for why I cannot explain what this book is about. Okay, won a bunch of awards in 2017, okay? So it's at least 10 years old. So I read this book over 10 years ago. Oh my god. I loved it, but I read it over 10 years ago. That is crazy to me. Oh my god. Look at how yellow the pages are. That's crazy. It's so old. It was published in, 2017. Okay. It's about a legendary competition, a mesmerizing romance, an unbreakable bond between two sisters. There's an invitation to Caraval, and her sister goes, so she must go to find her sister. There are 5 nights of the game, so it's a game. It's very interesting. I love it. So we have book 2 and book 3. Finish off the series. We are going to be going into the series I'm in the middle of. So none of these are going to have first book. So that's why Caraval didn't have first book, because I've already read it. So I've already read at least one in these series, just so you guys know. So the next is going to be the Ashen series. So book 1 was The Road of Bones. Book 2 is Kingdom of Claw. Book 2.5, this tiny cute little one, is Roots of Darkness. Show you better up. And then book 3 is Dawn of the North. They are by Demi Winters. The series is not over yet. I think another book is coming out. I'll confirm right here, you guys. But I think another book coming out. But it is an Enemies to Lovers book that is a Viking-inspired romantic fantasy. That's all I'm going to tell you, because I don't want to give any spoilers. But I have to continue that series soon, because I loved book 1. It's just like, I read it when it came out, and then I was waiting for the rest of the book. So I need to finish that. Next up, I have book 2 in the Saga of the Unfated, and that is A Curse Carved in Bone by Danielle L. Jensen. Book number 1 was A Fate Inked in Blood. This is a duology, so this will be finished after this one. And this is a shield maiden fights to break a prophecy. I'm not going to tell you too much because it is book number 2, but it is a Norse-inspired, N-O-R-S-E, Norse-inspired fantasy romance duology. And I really like book 1, so I'm excited for book 2. I have A Fellowship of Librarians and Dragons by Jay Penner. This is the Adenashire book 2. If you watch part 1, I also have book 3. This is, again, the Adenashire series, and book 1 was A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic. This is a cozy, whimsy, fantasy romance series, and this one follows our people-pleasing dwarf, and she inherited a dragon egg, so she has to kind of go on an adventure to help her loyal friends to embrace her true self and figure out what's going on with this dragon egg, and she has the help of her loyal friends and a newfound love. That's such a cozy, whimsy series. I have The Night is Defying by Chloe C. Penaranda, which is a Nightfall novel. And I also have The Dark is Descending, which is book number 3. So this is book number 2. And this is book number 3 in this series. This is a dark romance fantasy series about a girl. So book number 1 is called The Stars Are Dying. So we have The Stars Are Dying, and then we have The Night is Defying, and then we have The Dark is Descending. In this book, our female main character has lost her memories, and also she has a voice in her head that she talks to and that kind of keeps her safe. So I need to finish the series, and I am excited for it. I remember book 1 definitely was dense though, so be prepared for that. Continuing on, I have Thorn Season by Kira Azar. This is book number 1 in the duology. I'll put the name of the duology here. Between an heiress who possesses illegal magic and she has many secrets. She enters a harsh, glittering court where the threat of discovery lurks around every corner, and she has to deal with 2 beguiling, very dangerous men who might be her salvation or her ruin. So this one I think is going to be really fun and really cute, and I'm excited for this. I think book number 2 comes out this fall, so I might just wait and read those together. I have Guild by Raven Kennedy. This is book number 1 in the Plated Prisoner series. This series is quite long, I believe, and it is a fantasy series, and it's the myth of King Midas reimagined, shows the dark side of greed through the eyes of the woman he gold-touched. This compelling adult fantasy series is as addictive as it is unexpected, with romance, intrigue, and danger. The gilded world of Aurea will grip you from the very first page. So our female main character is gold. Gold. I have The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. I also have book number 2 in the series. I think these are only 2 in the series. And that is Somewhere Beyond the Sea by T.J. Klune. And they are cute, cozy found family fantasy series. And it's about our caseworker who is sent to a small island where there's orphans they are, what do we call them? Mysterious figures and a mysterious master of the orphanage. Oh, 6 dangerous magical children. He goes there, this caseworker goes there to check on these 6 dangerous magical children, and it ends up being found family and very, very sweet. And then I believe this is a continuation of the story. I have The Hunted Heir, and so book number 1 is The Veiled Kingdom, and I also have The Hunted Heir by Hallie Renee. These are book number 1 and book number 2 in a series. It is what's the name of the series here? I believe there's a 3rd book in the series. So this is book number 1. Yeah, it's a scorching new fantasy romance that ignites the pages with relentless danger, forbidden passion, and intoxicating allure of enemies to lovers. Our female main character is fleeing her father's cruelty and is captured by those sworn to kill her, and starts a little something with the son of the Ruthless Rebellion Commander. Book number 1, book number 2. I have The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by, this is book number 2. This is book number 1. I have The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent, which is book number 1 in the Crowns of Nyaxia duology. And I also have The Ashes and the Star-Cursed Kings, which is book number 2. So this is a series that is a bunch of different sets of duology. So this is the first duology set. And it's about humans and vampires, and it says the rules of survival are the same: never trust, never yield, and always, always guard your heart. So this one looks really, really good. It's about an adopted human daughter of the vampire king who enters a legendary tournament held by the goddess of death herself. So that sounds really good and really interesting. I have The Inheritance Games, which is book number 1 in a series. It's by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I will put the name of the series here. But it's about secret passages, elaborate riddles, and billions at stake. Our female main character wants to survive high school, win a scholarship, and get out, but her luck changes in an instant when billionaire Tobias Hawthorne dies and leaves her virtually his entire fortune. But her only catch is that she must move into his mansion, and it's full of the family that he just disinherited. Yeah, crazy, crazy. I have Wings Was Once Cursed. Oh, and that is book number 1 in a series. I think I said that. We have Wings Was Once Cursed and Bound by Piper J. Drake. This is also book number 1 in a series, I believe. I'll put the series name here. And it says, my wings unbound, I am the Thai bird princess, I am the Kinnari, and no matter the cost, I will be free. So our female main character lives in Seattle, unaware of the complicated magical world spinning just beyond the shadow and mist, until a violent clash outside her dance rehearsal has her literally whisked off her feet and rescued by a brooding vampire who claims to represent a secret organization dedicated to locating objects of myth and magic, tucking them safely away where they can do no harm. But he's too safe to save her from a deadly curse. That sounds really good and really interesting. So yeah, I'm really, really excited for that one. And then very, very excitingly, we are down to our last shelf. And these are all series. So hopefully this will go pretty fast for us because this is part 2 and this is already really, really long. So we're going to get right into it and go quickly. So we have the Shadow and Bone trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. I have the entire trilogy in a boxed set. And this is a fantasy trilogy about a soldier, a summoner, and a saint. We have book number 1, which is Shadow of Bone. We have book number 2, which is Siege and Storm. And then we have book number 2, which is Rune and Rising. So this, I just know, is a fantasy series. I have the entire Hunger Games series that is out so far. So I have the first 4 in this deluxe collector's edition with these really pretty edges. We have book number 1, The Hunger Games, book number 2, Mockingjay, book number 3, Catching Fire, and then sorry, I was trying to beat my battery there and I definitely failed. So book number 3, Catching Fire, and then book number 4, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. These are all by Suzanne Collins, of course. So I've read the first 3 when I was younger, and then I have not read book number 4. And I also have not read book number 5, which is Sunrise on the Reaping. So this is, of course, a dystopian series about a world in which humans are separated into districts, and every year children have to go and fight each other to the death to try and win glory and entertain the rich. I have book number 1 and 2 in this series. I put the series down below. It is Scythe is book number 1, and then we have Thunderhead is book number 2. They're by Neil Schusterman. It's the Arc of a Scythe series. A world with no hunger, no disease, no war, no misery. Humanity has conquered all of these things and even death. Now Scythes are the only ones who can end life, and they are commanded to do so in order to keep the size of the population under control. And it's about our characters who are chosen to apprentice a Scythe. So that sounds really good. So we have book number 1 and book number 2. I do know there's at least one more in the series. So I have the entire, at least the first 5, I don't know how many books there are, there's definitely more than 5. So I have the first 5 books of Game of Thrones. I have Game of Thrones, Clash of Kings, Storm of Swords, Feast for Crows, and Dance with Dragons. They all start with A Game of Thrones, A Clash of Kings, A Sword of Storms, A Feast for Crows, A Dance with Dragons by George R.R. Martin. It's Game of Thrones. It is a fantasy series about kingdoms fighting over the throne. Okay, so if you watch part 1, you'll see I had the first 4 books in this series. I also have the last 4 books in the series, and that is the Throne of Glass series. So I have Queen of Shadows, I have Kingdom of Ash, I have Empire of Storms, and I have Tower of Dawn, all by Sarah J. Maas. So we're going to be having a big Throne of Glass readathon this summer. So I'm really excited for that. But again, that is just a fantasy series about an assassin, and she's summoned by the king, I believe. I have Lightlark. This is the Lightlark series. So I have Lightlark by Alex Asher. I have this special edition. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I have Lightlark, which is book number 1. I have Nightbane, which is book number 2. And then I also have Grimm and Oro, which is a side attached to the series. I believe it technically goes after book number 3, which I do not have yet. All I know is this is a fantasy romantasy series. I don't know much else about it. Yes, that's the correct way to say it. That's all I really know about it. So yeah, I'm gonna have to start reading that one soon. So these ones, I've read all of them except for the last one, but I haven't read these special editions, and I want to do a reread, so that's why they're sitting over here. And that is the Twilight Saga by Stephanie Meyer. Yep, by Stephanie Meyer. So we have Twilight, we have New Moon, we have Eclipse, we have Breaking Dawn, and we also have Midnight Sun. This is Edward's version. I have not read this last one. That is a young adult vampire werewolf fantasy series. And then I have the Powerless series. So I have Powerless, I have Reckless, I have Powerful, and I have Fearless. They're all by Lauren Roberts. And this is a hunted hunter destined for each other. One is an elite, the other an ordinary. One is a thief, the other a prince. In a kingdom on the brink of chaos, fate will bring the two of them together, but duty may just tear them apart. The battle between duty and desire is about to begin. So I have the Powerless series. Okay, my friends, so yeah, that was the last book. I can't believe it. That was literally the last book. We did it. We made it through. We did it. I really didn't think we'd get here. I really did not think we'd get here. So what I need to do is I need to add this entire bookshelf into Fable. Literally this entire bookshelf into Fable. So future Kim's going to pop in right here, and she's going to let you know what my TBR is, and then yeah, we'll chat it a little bit. But this is really fun to do. I'm so excited I did this because it really helped me, I'm gonna be honest, it helped me remember what books I have, and it helped me get excited to read them because it helped me remember what they're all about. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a lot of good reading coming up. So I'm really excited. So yeah, it's gonna be some time. It might be tomorrow, but I will check in with you guys later, and I'll let you know what my full TBR count is at. Okay, it's Kim from the future. Honestly, it's not really that much later. It's honestly maybe 45 minutes, if that. And I added all the books into my Fable, and I officially have 387 books on my physical TBR. Yeah, that's insane. 387 books. That is insane. So yeah, that's where we're at. I would love to know, again, all the things I've asked you, and I'd love to know how many books are on your physical TBR. Let me know. And yeah, I really need to get tackling mine, so I think we need to finish off this video. Soon I will be doing a library reorganization, so look out for that, and I will be doing my red library reorganization as well, so keep your eyes out for those videos. Thank you guys so much for being here. Please like this video, hit subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming content. I put new videos live every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday, and we do a whole lot of shorts around here, so look out for all of those. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you guys are having a fabulous week, and I will see you guys in my next one. Live well, read lots and lots of good books, and go discover, my friends. Bye! 387 books. I'm so excited to read them all. I can't wait.